How's it going, Tamers? It's your boy Ghostly Games here, and I'm back with another deck profile for y'all today. Now, this one's a little bit different since, well, it's technically Ultimate Cup, but you could use it for standard format. This is actually the deck list of what I played at the PlayTCG Ultimate Cup Regional that was this past Saturday. And I will say I had a lot of fun at the event participating. It was my first Ultimate Cup Regional. Had a blast. My buddy Donkey Nog was in the event. He actually got 16th place while I ended up 103rd. But that's besides the point. I just had an honest blast with it. And I feel like this deck really has potential. And I mean, at least 2 players last time I checked made top 16 as well with Mirage. And it's a great deck. I'm happy that my boys Devil's Footprint and Domo Motaro were able to get me to actually play this deck. It's super fun, even with 4 hours of practice right before the event. Like, it's still really easy to learn and really fun to play. And if you're on a budget or just looking to get something kind of cheapish to get into the game, I honestly recommend Mirage. It's such a fun and good deck for its price. Well, with all that being said, this is just my deck list that went 3-1-3 at the regional. So we're gonna go on in and show the edge we played. We played 4 copies of Wanyamon from PT11. You're pretty much always gonna have a tamer, so that free draw 1 is just really good. Just helps you get deeper in the deck. You could choose to play a different type of egg, like the Upamon from, I believe, BT1. It might be BT3, but it's optional. It's not really required. And that's really gonna be it for our eggs. Now we're gonna get ready to move on to our level 3s. We played 12 copies, or 12 cards. First is going to be our main searcher himself, Gaomon. Now this Gaomon is on play. Look at top 3 cards, add a blue tamer and a Digimon with GaoGa to your hand, rest get trash. And then its inherited is just bounce a level 3 to the hand when attacking if you have a blue tamer. Now that inherited didn't really come up during the event, mainly because I just hard played him, and it's just really good. For hard playing, it helps you go deeper in the deck. He's the main one you want to hard play. Like, if you have to digivolve him on the Wanyamon, it's okay. It's preferred not to, personally. And then following that up, we also play 4 copies of, if I recall the set correctly, it should be EX4 Gaomon. Yep, EX4 Gaomon. So on play, making both players draw 1 is really funny. It actually helps play into your deck's combos. And it gains you 1 memory when you add a card to your opponent's hand by effect as an inherited. Is just really good. Now, I would say if, like, for your first deck, this is preferably the one you should go for. But it's just either or. As long as it's under, or as a Digivolution source, you should be golden. And then finally, we play 4 copies of the BT13 Gaomon. Now, his when attacking never came up for me, but that's because, like, I never hard played him. I always digivolve him. That 1k. Oh god, that 1k is so important. Being able to boost your MirageGaogas and your burst modes up by 1k can help you clear security so much. Because, like, walking into in the mirror match, when you hit another burst mode but don't have that extra 1k, it really hurts. Especially since if you don't have the Nikolai setup for jamming, you just lose your stack right there. And it's not fun when it happens. So this this Gaomon really helps out with that. And that's gonna be it for our rookies. Now we're gonna go ahead and move on to our level 4s, our champions. So first, we play 10 cards. We play a 4-4-2 ratio of them. And then first, it's going to be 4 copies of the EX4 Gaogamon. Now, when digivolving, bouncing a level 3 back to hand is very nice. That's how you deal with floodgates. And he also has the same inherited as the EX4 Gaomon, +1 when you add a card to your opponent's hand by effect. It's just really nice. And then, following that up, we play 4 copies of the BT13 Gaogamon. Now, when digivolving, if you don't have a Thomas in play, or you play out a Thomas for free, it's very nice. I will admit, I kind of misplayed with him, because I kept just swinging in with my Searcher Gaomons instead of going into him to set up the Thomas and then swing. Really costed me some matches, but this Gaogamon is so good, and he's also a DP increase, which is just fantastic. And then finishing off our level 4s, we've got 2 copies of Lanamon. She can help set up jamming, especially as just a generic when digivolving, making her one of, if not the best blue hybrid Digimon out there. Just really good. It's a hybrid, so it can go on a tamer, so you can swing in for the straight cheesiest of wins, or you can even do it on top of your Gaomons and just chuck another Gaomon under it, because why not? So yeah, that's gonna be it for our level 4s. Now moving to our level 5s. We play a 3-3-2 ratio for it, so 8 cards. First, we play 2 copies of the BT13 MirageGaogamon. Its when attacking never came up. I honestly didn't really like going into him at all. What's that called? His inherited is pretty generic. It's pretty good. Being able to unsuspend during all turns whenever an effect adds a card to your opponent's hand. It's really good, but it's just his when attacking just doesn't make it worth going into him much. If like you don't have if you have a second stack, yeah, you can easily go into this guy because like he just prevents his attack target from being switched. It's just really good at that point, but it's okay. Next, we play 3 copies of the EX4 MirageGaogamon. Now this one's good because it bounces a level 4 back to hand, or level 4 or lower back to hand as his when digivolving effect. And he has when attacking if your opponent has 8 or more cards in hand, which by the time you go into him and into your Mirages, they should at least have 8. He's gonna unsuspend. So it's really good. And it's great. Well, yeah, it's good. And then finally, we play, in my personal opinion, the best MirageGaoGa, the BT11 MirageGaogamon. Now, until the end of your opponent's turn, after when digivolving, he gains blocker and plus 2k DP for every 4 cards in the opponent's hand. So if they have 8 cards in hand, he's bumped up to 11k. It's pretty nice, and he has the same inherited as the BT13 MirageGaoGa. And that is going to be it for our level 5s. Moving on to our level 6s. First, our first level 6 being 2 copies of the BT13 MirageGaogamon. He has evade, which is nice, and he bounces a tamer, which is also nice. But his all turns effect, it's okay. I mean, it's another way to get Thomas, which is very good. If I were to be honest, I would cut him down to 1 for another copy of the next card that we're going to go into. Which, speaking of which, in this list, we played 3 copies of MirageGaogamon from BT11. When digivolving, bouncing a level, or he first checks to try to bounce a level 5 or lower Digimon from your opponent's board to your hand, or to their hand. If it can't bounce anything, it takes the top card of security and chucks it to their hand, and then it gains you 1 memory for every 4 cards in your opponent's hand. Is just super funny to pull off. I'd bump him up to 4 if you really don't want to play 2 copies of the BT13 Mirage. And then we can't talk about MirageGaogamon without his burst mode. This card's fantastic. It's absolutely dumb how good it is. When digivolving, just bounce a Digimon. And then he has the same like memory gain effect off of, or as like the BT11 MirageGaoGa. But his when attacking is just so dumb. Just, oh, coincidentally your opponent's at X cards over 8. You get to rip cards from your opponent's hand and chuck them to the bottom of the deck. until they have 8 cards left in hand, and and if you do, he unsuspends himself, and it's not once per turn. It's so good, and it has an alt cost to just go for free if you bounce a Thomas to hand. Fantastic. I wish I had an alt art in person, to be honest. Well, that's gonna be it for our Digimon. Now moving on to our option cards. First, we play 2 copies of Blue Memory Boost. This card's awesome. Looking at top 4, adding 1 blue Digimon and placing the rest at the bottom, and then setting itself to battle area to give you 2 memory your following turn. It's really nice. I will say though, when the blue training card comes out, honestly replace this with the training card. It's just so much better. Following that up, we've got what I would call our security bombs. So we play 3 security bombs. First, it's going to be 2 copies of what is one of the best blue option cards, Full Moon Meteor Impact. Main effect, return one of your opponent's Digimon to hand and gain 1 for every 4 cards in your opponent's hand. It's just really funny, and it's just a generic bounce back to hand if they hit it in security. It's really funny. Definitely, honestly, you could play it at 1, but I highly disencourage it. At least 2 copies. And then, finally, our last security bomb, Soul Rai. I will say, this card gave me a cheesy tie against Belphemon. I was on the back foot in the 5th round against Belphemon, and we were in overtime. Final turn, he tries to swing in for a game. But he has to check his security. Right before he does, he hits Soul Rai, and I'm able to live because of it. Because he had a Digimon with no Digivolution sources. And that's gonna be it for all of our option cards. So now we're gonna move on to our tamers. We play a total of 7 tamers. First, we've got 2 copies of the BT11 Nikolai. Now, he's good because starting main phase, he gives one of your Gao or Gaogas jamming for the turn, which is very nice, but also he can gain you memory. He suspends himself to give you 1 whenever whenever a card is added to the opponent's hand by an effect. It's just funny. It's literally just a Gaomon from EX4, but as a tamer. It's funny, and he came out first compared to the EX4 cards. Following that up, we play 2 copies of the BT4 Thomas. Now, I will say, some people would play 3. That's perfectly fine. I like it at 2 for deck space purposes. Being an on-trigger draw 1 is very nice. But I like him more because he can help you swing more. And it's funny. And then finishing that up, we've got the main memory setter of the deck, BT13 Thomas. Now, he's a memory setter. It's really good, but also whenever your Gao or Gaogas swing in, he can suspend himself to force both players to draw 1. And when you do that, it's just coincidentally all my cards activate because you had a card added to your hand by effect. And it's really dumb how consistent that is. And it's so funny to pull off. And that's gonna be it for our 50 card main deck. Right now, there really isn't too much you can change. Though, well, you can change a lot of cards for certain personal preferences or tech cards, which, speaking of tech cards, here's actually some tech cards you can choose to play in the deck if you really wanted to try it. So first, we're going to talk about BT11 Vmon. Now, he is a searcher. He does add a Vidra and a Blue Tamer. So you can play him mainly to add or have another way to gain another Tamer in hand. And he does gain you a memory whenever you play Blue Tamer. So it's kind of worth it, but the one thing with him is that he's not searchable by the Gaomons. So if you don't open him, you kind of minus. Next, we're going to be talking about a card that I will admit is something that I kind of just came up with on the spot. And it's the security promo, MirageGaogamon. Being able to, at the end of the battle, draw you 2 cards and set himself to your hand, and put himself in your hand. It's really nice. The only situation I don't think this would work in is exactly the mirror match. Because you have more cards in hand. That's not good, because Mirage likes it when your opponent adds cards to their hand by effects. So yeah. Another card you can play, now this time being specifically at level 4, is you can try out Gaogamon from BT11. Now the reason I have him here and not in the actual main deck is because I think his when attacking is okay. His inherited is literally the same as the Searcher Gaomon. But the only reason like I put him here is that he's searchable compared to Lanamon. But like it's personal preference. The Lanamon spot is the flex spot. I didn't like this card enough to actually put it in the main deck, so I just have him here as like a sideable / replaceable option that you can try in. So yeah. Following that up, we've got a option that's more towards like the future, like post BT14 format, because like this is something that like I've seen some Japanese players and players in Asia do, and that's play the starter deck or the Ultra starter deck, MirageGaogamon. It naturally has jamming, and if you have 8 or more cards in your hand as an inheritable, just security attack +1. It's really nice. It would help you gain or win games a lot faster. And if you do play this, you can actually combo it with Vmon from BT11 since it becomes a searchable target. But also you can combo it with Pukamon from BT14. He naturally gives jamming, so it's just funny. So you can help stack jamming and security attack +1 onto a MirageGaogamon. And then to finish it off, we've got an option card this time. We've got Great Maelstrom. Now, I actually did go against a MirageGaogamon player who played this, and I know what you're thinking. It's 9 cost. What's the point of it? It yeets something to the bottom of the deck, which is already harder to get back compared to bouncing to hand. And 2, it can reduce its own play cost by just chucking one of your Digimon from hand under one of your other Digimon to reduce its cost by 3, making it essentially a 6 cost, unless you literally have no Digimon on board. It's really great. Honestly, it'd probably be a 1-up just like Sorai though. And yeah, that's pretty much all like the tech cards I can personally think of. I've honestly have had a blast with this deck. It's really fun. I honestly plan to practice with it a lot more alongside Leo Force, which is another blue deck that I'm having fun with. But I'll keep y'all up to date with the deck as much as I can. I actually plan to take it to locals. So yeah. Please like and subscribe. It would be very appreciated. I'm honestly trying to get it to 50 subscribers by the end of the year, and every subscriber counts. So I very much appreciate y'all for watching, and I'll catch y'all on the next one.